Welcome, this is Carrie Schell from On Point Quilter. I am so excited to be sharing another use of EQ8 with you today. The design I created today will be used for sublimating a cosmetic bag. Sublimation is a process where ink is infused and becomes part of the fabric. I will also share with you how I transferred and worked with the design in Cricut Design Space, and then ultimately how I did the transfer using my Easy Press iron. On the home screen, select Design a Quilt from Scratch, select a new quilt horizontal, and on the Layout tab, change the number of blocks to 1 by 1. The size of the block is going to be the size of the side of the cosmetic bag that I'm going to decorate. So I will make the width 9 and the height 7. Select the Border tab and delete. Select the Design tab, and on Layer 1, select Fabric Tools and select Colors, and I'm going to make the background a white. Everything else we're going to do is going to be on Layer 2. So select Layer 2 and select Block Tools and select Open Library. Navigate to the 06 motifs and then find Leaves. Select a number of leaves and select Add to Sketchbook. Go ahead and close. Under Set Block, select the Motifs tab and drag the selected leaves on Layer 2. Use the Adjust tool and select one of the leaves. Under the Adjust block, turn on Preserved Aspect Ratio and drag a corner to adjust the size. To rotate a motif, use the Controller Command key on your keyboard and click on the center. That will engage the circle in the corner, which means you can drag a circle to affect the rotation. Continue with the process of resizing and rotating and create a series of 3 leaves at the bottom of the quilt work table. Select the Text tool to add text to the quilt. Under Text tool, note that the color for the text will be white. To change that, select Fabric Tools and select a different color, and go back to Text Tools, and now the color is black. Under Select Typeface, select a font, and your list will include any TrueType fonts you have installed on your computer. And I'm going to use the font Smooth Cinnamon. I'm going to change the size in inches to 1. And then with the Shift key, I will drag the start of a box, and I'm going to type in Leaves Are Falling. And then I'm going to start another text box and say EQ8 is calling. With the Adjust tool, select one of the text boxes and select Center Horizontally, and then repeat for the other text box. Go ahead and continue to play with all of the elements. You can resize and re-rotate at this point until you have something that is pleasing. Select Fabric Tools and use the eyedropper to find the color in each of the leaves and color the stem with the same color. Since we won't be making a quilt, it's important to use colors rather than fabrics. Then add to Project Sketchbook and select Print and Export. Select Export Image and navigate to My EQ8 Images, and I'm going to call this Leaves Are Falling. Under the Save As Type, make sure you have ping selected and select Save. For the size, I'm going to change the width to the size of the quilt. Since I want a super high resolution, I'm going to increase to 600 dots per inch. And I'm going to turn off outline patches and outline blocks and select OK. Next, I have opened Cricut Design Space, and I'm going to select New Project. Then select Upload, Upload Image, and I'm going to browse and navigate to My EQ8 Images, and select The Leaves Are Falling, ping and select Open. Under Select Image Type, select Complex. Click on the minus in the upper right corner a few times to zoom out as much as possible. Select the wand for Select and Erase, and select the white on the image, and that will delete it. We are also going to need to select the white within each of the pieces of text to delete that as well. And then select Continue. Select the Cut Image option and select Upload. And then we will select the image and select Add to Canvas. Okay, we can see that this came in at a really large size, and so we are going to double check what the size should be. So if I go back to EQ and I use the tape measure, this measurement should not be of the block, but from the left edge to the right edge of the motifs. So I will go back to Cricut Design Space, make sure Lock Size Adjustment is turned on, type in the adjusted number of 8.9. This is one cut, so we're going to now need to split it into 4 different cuts. Select Shapes, and then select the square. Select the button to unlock in the lower left corner, and now drag a box so it is covering just the text. With the Shift key on your keyboard, select both the larger cut image and the square, and select Slice. Under Layers, you can see we now have 4 elements. So select the top one and select Delete, and then select the one right underneath that and select Delete as well. So now we have just the text in a single box and the leaves in another box. Select Shapes and select the square, and for this one we're going to do a little bit of a rotate and adjust the size by dragging the corner so that we cover one of the leaves but not touch any of the other 2 leaves. And now I will select the leaves and the rotated square, do another slice, then delete the top 2 pieces of the slice. We will then repeat the process for the remaining 2 leaves. Select the square under Shapes, unlock, and adjust and rotate to enclose one of the other leaves, and then select the leaves and the rotated square and select Slice, and delete the top 2 layers of the slice. Select the color box next to Operations, and now assign a different color for each of the 4 separated elements. Select each shape and select a new color. Select Save, and in the title, put in Leaves Are Falling EQ, and select Save. And now you can select Make It. Since I will be using infusible transfer sheets, I need to select Mirror for each of the cutting mats. Make note of the size that will be needed for cutting, and cut a piece and attach it to the mat. Select Continue. Under Set Base Material, select Infusible Ink Transfer Sheets. If necessary, browse to find the material. Load the mat and press Go. Repeat the process for the other mats. Trim each of the cut shapes outside the cut line. Weed each of the transfer sheets. You want to leave the material that you want to transfer to the bag. Insert a piece of cardstock in the bag and place on an easy press mat. Put a piece of butcher paper on top. Press with the heat press at 385 degrees for 20 seconds. Remove the butcher paper and position the transfer sheets with the ink side down on the bag. Add the butcher paper and now heat press at 385 degrees for 60 seconds. I personally found that it did not all transfer the first time around, so I kept taking a look and retransferring until I felt that most of the ink had transferred to the bag. Here is my first transfer. As you can see, the ink is actually infused with the fabric, so it does differ from vinyl, where vinyl will sit on top of the fabric. I hope you enjoyed learning another use for Electric Quilt 8. And if you haven't had any experience with sublimation, maybe a little bit about that process as well.